Jesus is the ark that brings salvation to those who trust in him as he births a new world. Jesus is the burning bush who sets you on the path to your destiny after you encounter him. Jesus is Jacob's ladder to heaven, providing the only path to the presence of the Father. Jesus is the rock which provides the life-giving water of the Spirit to those in a thirsty land. Jesus is the coat of many colors bestowed upon him by his loving Father. Jesus is the stone that would break apart all other kingdoms in Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Jesus is the tree of life of whom we partake unto everlasting life. Jesus is the bronze serpent on the pole who took on the curse for us and heals all who behold him. Jesus is the rock and the sling that takes down giant demonic strongholds. Jesus is the root of Jesse as a king who would eternally sit on the throne of David. Jesus is my fortress and deliverer, my shield and the horn of my salvation. Jesus is the scapegoat who took the people's sins upon his head into the wilderness. Jesus is the chief cornerstone, in whom the whole building, being fitted together, grows into a holy temple in the Lord. Jesus is the cloud by day that provides guidance and shade from the heat in the desert. Jesus is the fire by night that provides warmth and protection from snakes and scorpions. Jesus is the waters of the Red Sea that drowns our enemies and releases us from death's grip. Jesus is the Jubilee that proclaims freedom and liberty for the debtors throughout the land. Jesus is the Passover lamb whose blood sets the captives free. Jesus is the lamb who was silent before his accusers as he was waiting to be slaughtered. Jesus is the Lion of the tribe of Judah, crucified from the foundation of the world. Jesus is the Sabbath day whose yoke is easy and burden is light. Jesus is the seed of the woman whose heel would crush the serpent's head. Jesus is the circumcision of the heart not done by human hands. Jesus is the manna from heaven who came down and gave life to the world. Jesus is the true tabernacle of God that was destroyed and then raised up in 3 days. Jesus is the ark of the covenant that perfectly held the commandments and presence of God. Jesus is the veil whose body was torn while on the cross. Jesus is the menorah light that never burns out. Jesus is the altar of incense who prayerfully intercedes for his people as a sweet aroma to the Father. Jesus is the bread of presence who delights in fellowship with his chosen ones. Jesus is the basin of water that cleanses us from impurity. Jesus is the altar of sacrifice who laid down his life as a ransom for many. Jesus is our high priest who entered behind the curtain and is the mediator between God and man. Jesus is the true vine through whom we can bear fruit unto everlasting life. Jesus is the good shepherd who leaves the 99 and goes after the one lost lamb. Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus is the door of the sheep. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life.